What's up, everybody? Today I got Vince from. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Good. How are you, brother?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. So finally got you on here. I mean, I've met you a couple times over at, we got a mutual friend, Simon, so we've been talking, and I've seen you. I actually seen you guys before in the plumbing game. I wasn't sure where are you from? Were you from Judge?
No, so
You're just friends with a lot of them boys?
So all my boys are Judge. My brother's a Judge
Yeah.
boy. I grew up in Fox Chase, went to St. Cecilia's, and then, time to come to high school, it's like all my boys go to Judge. Everyone always goes to Judge. I was like, I'm going to do something different. I went down to Roman. A couple of us went to Roman.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I graduated from Roman in 2010. And, it's pretty much...
Yeah, my brothers kind of have that same thing with the travel. Like, they go down, because they're at the prep, so they're used to take it. Used to take the train and all that.
That was the only bad thing I'd say. Until you get your license. Once you get your license, it was like
It's funny now, though, like, you have, like, a business, and you look back at it, because when I was in school, I was, like, around Calvary. I wanted to go to Calvary so bad. I wanted to go to Ryan. That's all my boys are going. And my dad's like, you're going to Judge. And in the beginning, I was like, damn, I'm going to lose all my friends. Like, I was scared. And now I'm like, it's kind of sweet for doing this because now I have more connects. Like,
yeah, it's funny you said it because like when I was growing up, like I went to St. Cecilia's. It's co-ed school. You go to school, boys and girls. And then my mom was like, nah, you're not going to Ryan. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you're not going to Ryan. Like, you don't need no distractions.
Trust me, I used to get in trouble in conduct, so my dad's like, you're not going to school with the
well, and then like now I like look back at it and it's like, dude, I went to school with all dudes. All we did was mess around all day long.
Yeah,
like, it was
the irony in it.
It was so funny, but yeah.
So when you were there, is that when you started getting into the trades and stuff? Like,
no, so not at all. Like, so what happened is, I talk about this all the time actually.
Yeah.
When you're in high school, especially Catholic high school, it's like you got to go to college. You got to go to college. They push college on you. Right, they don't ever tell you anything about like, yo, you could go be an electrician. You could be a plumber. You could go be a carpenter. You can join the union. You could go be a car mechanic. Like that was never pushed in high school. I see now Judge, they have their
Judges, course. Dude, I go there for like, they have like a business week and we get to talk and I went and I met them and it's so sick. The funny thing is that's still kind of the thought process for the kids because I try to explain that to my brothers. I'm like, yo, this is sick. Like not only you're not going to college, you're not taking debt, but you're coming out, you don't go to apprentice, you're right to whatever you're at. I'm like, you're making bank, you're living at home with your parents still probably.
My buddy Bodie, his son, I think he graduated last year or he's graduating this year. And he's already got a job. He's been in that welding class. He's already got a job. Like your boys are going to go to school, and some of them, they're going to go to school and they're going to get a degree and they're going to have awesome jobs. Or it's going to work out.
The funny part is he could be 19 years old, and I know this from the real estate side. He would have no debt, and he's making 80, 90, 100. Like he's got crazy buying power.
Making way more money than the teachers that were telling you how to go to college.
The person that has like $200K that went to Penn State, that's making, even if they're making double the money, it's like it's tough because of all that debt.
Yep.
So it's
I got a lot of friends who went to school.
But if you didn't go through school, so how'd you get into it?
So right after senior, well, I graduated from Roman 2010. Went down the shore for the summer, came back. Started at CCP, and I was like, this is like high school all over again. And I went to CCP main campus, living in Fox Chase. So now I'm driving I'm driving down there every day. My schedule was crazy. It'd be like one class at 10, and then the next class wasn't until 2. So it's like, do you drive back to Fox Chase, or you just stay at school? Yeah. So I was staying at school doing like my homework, my papers, studying for like exams and stuff like that. And then after a semester, I was just like, yo, this ain't for me. So I started talking to my grandpa because he was an electrician by trade, and then, got into his like alarm business. And he was like, go to school for HVAC. So I went to Orleans Tech, took a test, applied for like a grant. And I'm pretty sure I didn't even tell my mom. I don't really quite remember, but I don't think I told my mom. And like I remember coming back.
She's going to remember this differently if she watches.
Yeah, 100%. But I remember like coming back and like, I'm not going to CCP anymore. And she's like, what? Like, man. Yeah. And she's like, well, you're going to do something. You're going to work. And I just like put like the paper down that I got accepted to Orleans Tech.
So that's good. You got the plan already in set.
So I went to Orleans Tech. It was funny. I went to Orleans Tech for heating and air conditioning. And right out of there, like they said they're going to give you jobs. And like so they kind of do try to help you. And I got an interview with Atlas. It's this dude, Jamie and Todd. They own this HVAC company, Atlas, real big in Jersey, a little bit in PA. So I was working for them, and it was just like crazy hours. It was like I'd be sitting in the office like this, waiting until 11 o'clock, like, oh, we got a call. I'm like, man, I'm not this isn't benefiting me.
You want to learn.
So I was talking to my mom about it one day. She's like, me and your father went to school with this guy named Billy Frusco. So she hit him up, and he was like, all right, what can you do? And I went in, did a heater for him, and I'll never forget. He was like, yo, you're hired. I'm like, all right. I'm like, all right.
I know his son a little bit. We played.
So little Billy's actually becoming a very good, very good plumber. And it's funny because like when I was working, Billy was still in high school. So when Billy was in high school, they would have the summers off, and it'd be like him and this big kid. I forget the kid's name, but dude was monstrous. He's picking up water heaters like they're like like they're soda cans.
It's probably someone on his football team.
It was,
played
dude.
against,
He was huge. He was just picking up water heaters and like putting them on a truck like he's a soda can. But like, yeah, that's how I started. I worked for Frusco for like, dude, I'd probably say 5-6 years, and you got fed to the wolves. But like, it's the greatest like experience.
It's the only way to learn.
It was the greatest experience.
I try to explain that. Like, I had a young realtor who I met. Like, I was doing a seminar for my dad, and he's just like, he's asking me like, what do I got to do to learn? And in my head, I'm like trying to say something nice, but I'm like, there's no way to learn unless you mess it up.
Dude, you got to mess up.
Yeah.
And you need to be around like people who kind of don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? They're going to kind of talk to you, not talk to you.
They got to be willing to let you mess up.
Exactly.
Which is a tough thing as a business owner to grasp.
So that's the hardest thing as a business owner is like trying to like teach these.
Like you're trying to keep a quality of service, and like especially now, like your name's attached to it.
That's the craziest
it's like, how do I do that? But so you were working for Frusco, and then you were just how long did you work there?
I worked for Frusco for like probably like 6-7 years, and then like I went to another company for a little bit, and then another company. But yeah, pretty much Frusco was like the start of it all, because like you got like when I say you got thrown into the wolves, I got thrown into this dude named Izzy. He's a beast. He's a Mexican dude. Yeah, he's still at Frusco to this day, and he didn't really speak English back then. Yeah, I always tell the story to my apprentice and like people I'm talking to, like this dude was screaming at me like, give me a chisel. I'm like, what? So I give him there's in the plumbing, like we got this little saw. It's called a chisel that you like cut bolts with. I hand him that, and he's like looking at me. I got 10. No, chisel. I'm like, a chisel? He's like, no, a chisel. So like I give him a chisel, but like I owe it all to, honestly, like the Frusco.
I have a little bit of that with the language barrier with I do, because a lot of my stuff, like I have people from you name the nationality. Like I just sold a house. That I was selling the house, and the person buying it was Argentinian, so like that he was speaking English, but his fiance and their kids weren't, and I'm like, it wasn't an issue, it was cool. So like you learn to kind of communicate. Like,
yeah, so like him, like the first 2 years, I pretty much did like heating and air conditioning with like a couple dudes. I was like their helper, and then I would do like the digs, and you got thrown to the wolves. But over time, you know, Billy lets you start doing more, and then now you're learning the trade. You're getting paid to learn a trade foremost, and then you're becoming a salesman. He's teaching you how to talk to people. He's teaching you how to interact. So that a lot of that like came from just working at Frusco, like an experience with that.
I learned a little bit of that, completely different thing. But when I was in college, I used to work for a junk removal company and stuff, and I would be doing that. Like they would send me to jobs, and they'd be like, all right, like here's the thing, like you negotiate the price, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like they're like, oh well, just if they get mad and they don't want to pay it, like you got to find a way to get us money, but also make it worth your while. And I'm like in the field, like with these random people.
We used to drive around with like a book, and it would just have like a false.
I just have just papers and addresses, and it'd be like, show up here at the time.
Yep, we would literally have a book. You go in every day, you get a folder. You got like 4 or 5 jobs, and then you got a sales book. Like you can get like this X amount of dollars they want for a certain like
here's what we want, here's the bottom, and
you get commissions on your sales. And like not every company's like that, but like it teaches you how to be a salesman
forever. So
I really owe it a lot to him, dude. I really did because
shout out them.
Yeah, he pretty much throws you to it, and that's like as a business owner, that's stressful. Like I see it now. Like you send guys out there. They represent your name, like you know what I mean, and like so you're trusting.
I can say this about them, like I don't deal with them all the time, but I know for a fact, like if I know someone, like if someone comes to us to sell their house and they have paperwork, or vice versa, I'm looking at a house to buy and they have paperwork for them, I'm like, I know it's square. Like I don't got to worry about it. Like when someone's like, yeah, my uncle did it, and it's like he does this on the side, it's like, all right, well, like, is this gonna be a problem down the line? Like,
dude, I get.
You don't want to be disrespectful.
I don't want to be like. That's the worst part. Is like you tell people, like you try to talk to people, and like some customers act like they know what the hell they're talking about, which is fine. Yeah. You read a couple of YouTube, like you've seen some videos, you read some stuff. That's fine, but like like my cousin, and like some people like always want to go cheaper, and that's not the best route, especially in the plumbing game. Like, dude, hell no. I can't tell you how many times I go into someone's house and they're like, oh yeah, my cousin, which is Handy Andy, just for example, you know what I mean? He knows a little but doesn't know nothing. Yeah. You do all this work to this house, and the next thing you know, you turn the water on for the first time, and you got brand new sheetrock and everything, and you got like your ceilings coming down. Like I go in people's houses all the time.
And that's a great example of you don't learn till you mess something up. Like whatever you did wrong to do that, you're not going to make that mistake again.
Nope, you got to literally.
I try to explain this to my dad because of course I'll be doing this and I'll mess it up and I'll be like,
you got to mess up.
I just try not to make the same mistake twice. Like, that's my mantra. Like I want to get a little better every time.
So like plumbing is like I was never scared to like go into business for myself. Like it definitely it's like a leap.
Was there like a day where you're just like fuck it, I'm gonna
go. What happened was I did plumbing, I'd say all the way up until from 2010 to 2018. I had an opportunity to get into the operating engineers. I got into the operating engineers, And right away they shipped me to Shamokin, Pennsylvania, which I was telling you earlier. It's like Kensington in the middle of the mountains.
Okay.
So it's really nothing going on up there. It's an old coal mine, and I was just running heavy machinery, digging ditch, and just laying pipe for the welders. And I did that for like 2 years. And then once like 2020 came around, we got laid off, and I was like laid off for a year and a half. And I was like, working with my buddy Brad, he's got a masonry company, like still collecting unemployment, but still like, I'm like the type of person, I can't sit at home.
I know so many Irish people that are all like that.
I have to, I gotta.
It's just like in their blood. They're just like, I'm working, I don't care.
Yeah, like I can't just sit at home and do nothing. Like maybe for like a week, but then after that, I gotta be out moving around. So I was doing like masonry, and then my buddy hit me up one day and was like, "Yo, I want to open up my own plumbing company. Will you come give me a hand?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." I go and I open up a company with him. And we're running, but like I was doing the majority of the work, like not taking shots at him. Like he'll tell you too. Like I was doing the plumbing aspect of it, and it's kind of hard to work with your boys once like money gets involved and like
and that's one thing like I learned too, just because like we're doing a small business too, but it's more individualized. Like a realtor's one person, but like. You still, from like financial and taxes, it's its own business, but you start learning like you can, and I say this all the time now, but you could be like, you were doing plumbing stuff and you could be a great plumber, but running a business is a whole different beast.
So that's was my thing. Like, so one day I was like talking, I'll never forget, I was sitting at my mom's house, I'm sitting down talking to my mom and my sister, and like they're like asking me about the like how's work and everything. I'm like, it's good, like we're staying busy, but I was like, I could do this for myself. Like and they're like, they always told me like, why don't you just do it for yourself? And my grandpa, like, before he passed away, he always used to say to me, if you're going to kill yourself, you might as well do it for yourself.
Yeah.
So I always said to my mom and my sister, like I'm sitting there one day, like I could do this. Like I know I can do this. Like I know, like I'm working with plumbers.
That in itself is like what makes entrepreneurs, because just the thought, like you don't know how many people have that exact thought and they like suppress it. They're like, nah, like I want to be safe. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Like, and I work with plumbers, and then it's just like, yo, I go to people's houses all the time. I work with like many plumbers over the years, and some people take a lot of pride in their work. And I go in jobs, and it's like, yo, I can't even believe this dude really just just charged you that, and really they really left your house looking like that. Like if I came to your house,
think of it like a job. Like I'm gonna make a quick
paycheck.
But they don't realize like true sales and like that, like you're gonna make money in the long term off of the referrals. Like,
so
this person's gonna be like, you got to be crazy not to use these guys. Like,
so that's my company is a strictly 100% referral.
I was gonna ask you that, because I dug in a little bit. Like I saw you on a couple things online, but not as much like as some people.
Nope.
But that's awesome. And
so that was my thing.
That's good clients too. Like those are good jobs.
So when I was talking to my mom about it, my sister, and they were like, well, "What are you scared of?" I said, "I'm not scared of doing the plumbing. I can crush it. I dance circles around half these plumbers I plumb with anyway, and not to talk shit or."
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like toot my own horn, but I do. And like, so what's holding you back? I was like, running a business. Yeah. Like learning a business aspect of it. You know what I mean? Because everything relies on you. It's your name. It's your company. You have to go in a house.
It's your liability. Yep. Shit gets fucked up.
Oh, trust me. Like there's been days like I had a guy flood out of the house. It cost me $5,700, and we just finished a job. Like the job was just finished. And as a business owner,
we'll have one that you would be in. This is kind of a plumbing thing, but we were selling a house. Basically, one of my investors bought it, flipped it. They had nothing to do with the inside. They didn't touch any of the plumbing, right? They just redid everything. So the new person buys it, and then they call me up, and they're like, yeah, like my entire basement's flooded with sewage. And it was something to do with like the curb trap.
Curb trap.
And that's about all the information I know as far as my understanding. But like you'd be able to explain this, like that's obviously nothing the seller would have any knowledge of.
No, but this is what I always tell people. Anytime like a lot of people will call me like, Vin, I'm buying a house, blah, blah, blah. Can you come walk through the house with me?
Yeah.
Can you do your own visual inspection?
Like you would be able to look at that better than like, because this person had an inspector.
Oh,
they went through, and look, the inspector I have is the best. He's the best in the game. He didn't do this one. Another inspector did, but there's some plumbing stuff that an inspector's not going to know.
One thing
unless you put a scope down there.
Yeah, that's why I always recommend it. Yeah. Anybody who I know who's buying a house or customer, friends, family, get an underground plumbing video pipe inspection.
The first house I ever sold, ironically, and it was Frusco, I'm pretty sure. They had a tree. The roots were growing into the water line going into the street.
Yep.
And it got clogged, and they ended up blasting it. But they're like, dude, you're kind of just putting a Band-Aid over it. So, and they had to get the whole thing redone. But I remember they had to put the scope down there. And
that's your number one thing. And like, unfortunately, City of Philadelphia is an older city, so we have like some of the oldest plumbing in the game. So back in the day, all the underground plumbing was ran in terracotta. Terracotta is clay materials that they put like your plants in. Like a terracotta pipe is the same material.
It collapses.
And back in the day, before there was tie seals, before there was oakum and lead, they would put the pipe in like a slip joint and then mortar it. Well, what happens with mortar cracks over time, and tree roots grow to water, so they find their way into your system.
That's the type of stuff like you don't learn unless you're there. And like I always tell people this, like you were talking about the internet, like the internet has so much information, but it doesn't matter if you don't know how to process it. Like, like I was talking to my accountant and I'm like, yo, I could go on the internet and look at a YouTube video and be like, how to be an accountant. But that don't mean if someone hands me their taxes and be like, well, what do you need? How can you make less money? Like, just because you have the information doesn't mean you know how to maneuver it and tangle it and make it work.
That was the hardest part, and I'm still learning. I've only been in business for myself. I'm in 3 years now for myself, and it's like I learn something new every day. Like
I wanted to bring it up too. The video. That's what made me hit you up because I thought about you for a while, but then when you did the Broncos video, I was like, that's sick. But I always think there's like a tweet or a meme or something where it's like, what am I gonna tell people when I tell them the best sandwich in Philly is at Home Depot? And it's like it really is. And the funny, crazy part is my uncle, contractor for like 30 years. I used to work with him when I was a kid. And we used to go to that exact Home Depot, and there'd be a ton of labor, like just stand in the parking lot. And we used to go there, and I remember always being like, right when I was able to drive, he's like, all right, you got to drive and just get food, but you got to pick somebody up and get them to come with us. Like we need someone to shovel or something.
So it's funny because you can go to any Home Depot that has a Rocco's out front, and they're literally busy from
It's nuts.
From open to close.
I remember not going there that much, and they put the Chick-fil-A. I used to have to start going to right when they put the Chick-fil-A in. Yep. I was like, dude, you can't get into there. It's like it's not worth the wait. I gotta move.
Danny and his crew got it pretty much down now, where they're putting in bigger units. Like the original one was down on Oregon Avenue, which we just redid and dropped a new building. And they still got an older one on Columbus Boulevard and Adams in the Boulevard. Those are the three older buildings, and now there are all these newer ones where it's nice. Sweet. Like you could walk in there, sit down. They have handicap ramps where like the old ones didn't.
Sick.
It's more of like a more friendly vibe, and they're
have you
franchise.
done a lot of them like mobile stops like that? Like I feel like I never really seen nothing like
that.
No,
so what happened was like my buddy who I did started his business with, he originally introduced me to Danny, and he was doing the work for Danny, and something happened with them. I don't really know, to be honest with you. I kind of just keep that not my business. And Danny was like, well, Vin, when you worked for him, you were the one who did all the plumbing anyway. So could you just do it for me? And I turned him down like twice. And I was like, nah, I don't want to
That's a good spot to be there. Like that's how I just know from hearing that. Like you're in a good enough spot business wise that like you're not, you're like, I know what I do and don't want to do. Right.
So like I kind of turned it down at first because I didn't want my boy to feel like I stole his customer, and I didn't want to burn a bridge like in a relationship wise because we're all boys out here. Like most of us, I got like 4 or 5 friends.
The relationship's worth way more than the money.
I got 4 or 5 friends who all own plumbing companies, and people say to me all the time like, it's so weird. Like all use are plumbers because I got half my boys that are plumbers, but it's not like that.
I feel that on like a spiritual level because there's so many people in real estate that are like awkward or like tentative towards me because they're like, oh, it's a realtor, or they'll be like, well, Matt's friends with this person. I'm like, there's a ton of jobs out there for everybody. There's a ton of buyers. Like we can all help each other out. The irony is, in real estate, the deal's with another realtor. So you need a connection.
Like we were sitting down. Like I just brought a new kid in like a couple months back. Like 19 years old, rare. You don't get a 19-year-old kid who wants to go into the trades. Rare. So he's been with me, great kid. And I was like telling him, and he asked me, he was like, you guys don't you're not in competition with like each other? I'm like, nah, like. I'm in competition with myself and only myself. Yeah. I want to be a better plumber, a better person, and a better business owner every single day. Like I'm just trying to be the best me that I can be. Yeah. And then like you're my boy. Like I got my buddy Nicky D'Ambra, my buddy Nicky Cosolino.
Yeah.
One owns Ironside Plumbing, one owns D'Ambra Underground. And we all network with each other. Like Mark, he owns Abrams. I got Pinnacle Plumbing.
And I'm sure it's like, yo, and one awesome part about it too is like you could hit them up and be like, yo, I got this weird situation. Like, what would you do?
Yeah, so like in certain,
like you could hit ideas off them. Like that's one of my biggest reasons I love this office here. Like my old place at Remax, it wasn't as collaborative. Here, it's like everyone's trying to help each other.
Dude, we bounce ideas off each other. You bounce jobs off each other, and like they'll tell you, they'll be like I'll get a call and I'll be like. It'll be like more like a lot of my customers wait. Like if I tell them like I'm booked out two and a half weeks, most of my people will wait. But like sometimes they need like that same day service. And if I can't get to you, 9 times out of 10, I can't get to you.
Get somebody else.
Yeah, if you call me, I can't get to you that day.
And you know how appreciative like the honesty in that is? Someone's gonna be upfront with you, like I can't. I have someone else, and then down the line, like that person is gonna be like a huge fan too. And they're gonna be like, "Oh, like you're getting your plumbing done. Like go to this person."
And that's like, and then that's kind of like a thing. So like people will call me, right? Say if it's like I need a drain clean, I can't get to you today, But I got boys who own like flow drain services, and they're like the best drain cleaners around. They are the best. I'll call Steve or Jimmy like, yo, I got a drain, and then they used to ask me like, you want kickback? Like, nope. I just want you to go out there and make that customer happy.
Just do a good job.
And yo, and I'll get
That's
like text,
my biggest thing.
and I'll get like text messages from like customers all the time, like whether it's Nikki or Steve or Jimmy, whoever I sent out there, and like gave the job to my boy. They're like, yo, thank you so much. They were so respectful, so nice. They did a clean job. And then like some people will be like, well, damn, you just referred your boy, and now they're going to call your boy for the next one. But 9 times out of 10, they don't. And even if they do,
because they respect the honesty.
And
you can't fake like genuine people being genuine. And real.
Exactly.
Like,
and even if they do call my boy rather than me, well, awesome. Because now one of my boys just got a job rather than like a company that we don't know, or a company
and
who I know.
And there's going to be some time where it kicks back to you, and you might need their help. And they're going to be like, dude, anything for you.
It's every single day. My girlfriend will tell you she hates it. Like, I'll come home from work on my phone. I'll put my phone down for 10 minutes, and that thing will ring 15.
That's how my dad's phone
It will ring 15 times. And she's like, you're always on your phone. You never pay me any attention. I was like, just because I'm done work doesn't stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nice.
Like, I might be home sitting here with you. Dude, you're making schedules.
That was like one of my other questions I had for you. So, like, what do you think, like, in the future, what's your vision? Like, are you trying to make it bigger, or?
So, I don't want to be a Fresco.
Yeah.
I respect what they do.
Oh my God.
I love how big their company is, and I love everything they do. I never wanted to be that. I want like 3 or 4 guys. I want a family. You know what I mean? I want like a family. I want like guys who I grew up with my whole life, or I know we built a family. Because what happens when you're like a Fresco or a Goodman,
you're just dealing with, and this is any business, not just them, but when you have that big of a business, you're dealing with turnover. You're dealing with so many
much.
problems
I know people
that you're not dealing with. And the irony is, when you were just doing the work, you weren't dealing with the problems you're dealing with now, and it's just 1 or 2 levels above where you're at.
So it's just like, I watch what those guys do, and I have friends, who have 1 guy crews, and I have friends who have 15 guy crews.
Yeah.
Some guys overhead is 5,000. Some guys overhead's 50,000, and it's just what kind of business do you want to run. And like for me, as a type of person I am, I just want a family, like a small family where I know my employees are taken care of. They're making over $100,000 a year. They got money in the bank. They can afford to do what they want. They have health insurance. They got a 401k. And on top of it all, they care about the company. Because what happens is when you get these bigger companies, in any trade, it doesn't matter what trade you're in, you get these bigger companies. Half these dudes who are coming to your job every day, they don't care about you or the brand you got. It's there for a paycheck. And unfortunately, like, that's just the world we live in. And so rather than me...
It's part of owning a business, though. That's
exactly.
So you could own a restaurant, right? You're constantly interviewing
So rather than me stressing about because it's the truth. Once I get like out of the field myself, you start losing quality of work. Yeah. Everyone's not you. No one cares like you do. You know what I mean? And you start losing quality work. And that's what a lot of people love about me. Like, I know at my company, I will say that if I come to your house and I'm selling you a job, whether it's $100 or $10,000, $30,000, whatever the job is, at the end of it, you're going to see me there. You're going to see me in your house. You're going to see me doing the work. Yeah. I stand behind everything. God forbid if there's any problem, which, knock on wood, there's
like a
really
saying,
not that many.
I forget what it is, but it's something like, you respect the general that's in the field with the soldiers.
Yep.
You're not the one that's pointing.
I love seeing there's guys I see in a supply house. They got companies, they've been in the game for 30 plus years, and it's still just them and a helper. You know what I mean? And they're crushing it. They got nice houses.
That is such a referral based world. Like, even real estate, I do that too. And my dad's 100% we do some marketing, obviously. But that's how, and the good thing is you're getting good people a lot of times. Like, you're not
great
getting
customers.
Great
customers.
And there's always going to be, people are people at the end of the day. So there's always going to be good.
You can't make everyone happy. You know what I mean? You could just, as long as you do, I can't realize, like, you're never going to you can't expect people to treat you how you treat them. Yeah. And you can't expect people to, like, always be the best customer, or, you know what I mean? And things are going to go wrong and stuff's going to happen. It's just, how do you deal with that? Like, how do you make it right? Like,
and
how do you
can sleep at night knowing, like, this might have got messed up, something might have happened, but it wasn't intentional, and I'm doing the right thing. I'm not ripping anybody off.
Yeah, like
I couldn't, like, even, like, I've had real estate deals where there's people I know that through realtors that will go into a house and be like, well, this house is worth $100,000 when it's worth $300,000, and then they're buying it, and then they're turning it, and they're wholesaling it, and I'm like, you could pull that off, and it's a good way to make money, but it's just tough, like, for us, where my brand is like, we're a local family.
Yeah,
we're trying to help out the people. We're no different than you.
And that's how I am. Like, I'll never, like, I tell people all the time, like, I'm not here to rob you. I'm not here to get over on you. And I'll go in people's houses, and they'll tell me prices, and I'm like shocked that someone could actually come in your house and try to rob you.
People will pay them.
And that's the worst part. Like, people don't know. Like, people really don't know. And I treat people like, I tell people all the time, if I want to put it in my house, I'm not going to put it in your house. If I want to do it in my house, I want to do it in your house. I'm going to treat you like you're my mom, my brother, my sister, my grandma, my friend. You know what I mean? You got to treat everybody equally. It doesn't matter if you live in Huntington Valley, or if you live in Kensington, like the job's worth it. What the job's worth, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to stand behind it,
Yeah, it's
So
awesome.
that's like the one thing that like I kind of pride myself on, and like I said, we're like 100%, damn near 100% referral only. The only marketing I do when I first got into business, I put some money into FOP, Angie's List, and eLocal, and that really wasn't it for me. I noticed.
Yeah, I'm not as into it. My dad does it, but I honestly, and it's just blunt, but I just throw marketing to my boys that I like, and I don't expect any return. I just like I'm doing one of my good friends does a golf outing, and I'm one of the main sponsors, and it's not like my phone's ringing off the hook from deals, but that's my boy, and I want to support what he's doing.
Yeah,
and it's that simple.
I'm the same way, like my boy.
Well, hopefully one day it works, but if not, if I never got a call from him, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm
just supporting my boy.
I'm the same way, and like I noticed like Facebook. If I put a post on Facebook or something on Facebook, dude, my phone blows off. Like,
that's what I'm into. Like
Facebook
I like
and
doing,
Instagram.
that's kind of why I've gotten into this world. And even yesterday, like I posted something because we were so busy. I'm like, I fucked up. Like I should have been posting stuff, and I forget to do it. And like that's like one of my biggest goals this year is to just like. I wish I could almost hire somebody like, yo, I need you to just every day
so
just
like
pump this shit out.
I noticed that I always tell my boys who first started his company, like, dude, just hammer Facebook, get on the neighborhood pages and do that. And now it's like I see like on Thursdays, like like they got the neighborhood like Huntington Valley or Fox Chase, like small businesses, and like sometimes I don't even post it. And
someone will tag you like
I get tagged and everything.
Dude, and
luckily my friends and family and like my clientele, like my base, like. I got such great friends and family who reshare and repost everything. Like a lot of it, like is thanks to them. Like a lot of them, but like most of it, like you had Brandon on here. Like I do a lot of work for Brandon. I was just at his house this week, doing work for him. You know what I mean?
I've seen you in a couple of his videos. Yeah,
Brandon does amazing work.
Yeah,
his basements are top notch.
He's got a great gig going.
Dude, top notch.
I was really surprised by like how
I love his projects.
I knew he did it, but like now after seeing it, I'm like, oh, dude, that's such a sick. Like,
dude, his projects are awesome because like when we go in,
it looks cool too. Like it looks fun.
When we go in his projects, I get there and he'll be like, Vin, this is what I need. I need a bathroom
and
here.
it's kind of feel like it's cool for you because it's probably less stressful. Like you're not handling like. You're contracted, so it's like, oh, I can go here, and it's not like I'm worrying about like
he'll hit me up.
Guy or this guy. Or
Bram will hit me up. He'll be like, Vin, just got this one. Send me the address. When can we get in there and get it done? I'll look at my schedule and we'll get it set up. And like 9 times out of 10, I don't even know what it looks like until I get there. Now we walk in and he'll be like, Vin, this is where the pump I need. I need the bathroom layout like this. This is what they want. This is how many shower heads they want, the fixture wise. And it's crazy because like when I go there. I'm there for the first 2 days, and it's just a shell. And then I come back for finish work, and it's just like, you see, like, his vision. He'll be like, oh, yeah, movie theaters going here, there's going glass shit. I'm just like, yeah, all right, Bram, whatever you say, brother. Yeah. And then you get there, and you're like, oh, dude, like, you crushed this. Yeah, they crush it, bro.
His social media game's good.
Yeah, big. He just showed me this little thing. Him and his cousin Danny were showing me. I gotta get it. It's like this little like gimbal tripod thing. How they make their videos. Yeah, I gotta get into more making a video thing.
Oh, dude, I could definitely help you out.
It's just for me. It was like always hard, like. Cause like
it's hard to get over, and that's even one thing. Like I have such a struggle with my real estate thing because I just like have this like limiting belief in my head, like oh, like everyone thinks you're like I'm annoying people. You know what I mean by posting like, and I don't want to be like.
You don't want to.
I don't want that thought, and I know it's a bad thought because I'm not. Like I want you. People want to know like what you're doing. You know
exactly.
What I mean? It's the same thing for you.
And like in a world that like we kind of grew up in, like when we were younger, like you know what I mean. If you're out taking like selfies and videos of yourself, you're kind of a nerd, and your boys are going to be ripping you.
That's definitely grounded in it.
You're going to be in a group chat getting roasted by your homies. You know what I mean? But now it's like everything is like more like a visual.
People know now. I think it's come to a point where people know like, yo, this is this person's job.
And I kind of feel like
trying to help, and they support it.
I kind of feel like TikTok. I don't have a TikTok or anything like that, but I feel like TikTok kind of changed the game for everything because now it's like almost like everything's like a visual. Like if you can explain to people and show people and educate people, that's like
that was part of the reason I wanted to do this because I wanted people to get in front of the camera. Like I know so many people just like you that have a sick business that are all referral that no one knows who they are. And there's a lot of people that won't hire people for jobs unless they see them.
Yep.
They want to go and they want to see the work. They want to see the person. They don't want to. They want to know what they want to have somewhat of an idea before they play.
Like I like telling like my customers. Like I like educating my customers. I like telling them why their problem happened, how to prevent their problem if any way possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like I'll get customers too. Like your guys were so trustworthy, so clean, and that's like a big thing for me. Like cleanliness and like having people I could trust. Like you know what I mean? Like back. When I was like first started, like I used to walk in people's houses and they would see tattoos and automatically think like you're like a hoodlum or a gangster. And now they're like I love your tattoo, so like it's kind of changed like a little bit on that aspect.
That's just like an older thing. Like even like I have that a little bit with my dad because he'll be like, oh, like my dad's very older where he's wearing a nice outfit, and I'm like. dude, my boy. I'm showing the house with my boy. Like, he doesn't need me to
They don't
wear
care.
a tie and a shirt.
At the end of the day,
I'm like, that's my boy. Like, he remembers me. Like, I don't need that.
Most people
they
like,
want you to be genuine. That's all. And they want you to care.
Most of my customers, that's all they want. They want you to be genuine.
You're
they
not just a ticket. You're not just a number. You're not a dollar bill.
And
like, this is a real person, and I'm trying to help them.
That's where a lot of business owners go wrong. And I'm new to this whole business world, like, you know what I mean? But I've seen it firsthand. That's where a lot of business owners go wrong. They look at customers and they look at people as just a paycheck. Yeah. They just look at you as a number.
I'm lucky.
You know
like, that's where, like, my dad is, like, the most genuine person that, like, he cares about everybody. Whether he's trying to help somebody sell $100,000 house or $1 million, it doesn't matter to him. He's like, what's your goal? What do you want to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Like, I want to help you. And he's always telling people, I want to do such a good job that you tell all your friends, you got to be nuts, like, not to use them.
That's how I love it, because, like I said,
and it takes time, and it's not like some people want the quick money, and I think that's why you see people dumping all kinds of marketing and this or that, where it's like, I want to, especially in real estate, people want to make $200,000 in a year, and it's like, this is a slow game. Like, it takes time.
Oh yeah, and
it's any small business.
Any small business.
Takes time.
The first 5 years, I feel like, is like you getting your brand, getting your brand out there.
Yeah.
People may know you from years ago and may know that
but they
you
don't
do
know
a certain.
You're this, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't know you're a company, and that's why I love. Like, I get a phone call like, hey Vin, like, this is such and such. I got your number from whatever.
Yeah, they remember you before you were the farmer.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean. It's just like stuff like that. Like, and like, I don't know, man. It's awesome. It's awesome being able to go in people's houses, and like, at the end of the day, like, you have a good relationship. Like, I feel like I don't have.
Yeah, especially when you start working and you're doing big jobs for people you know. Like, I'm coming right off a closing for someone I know, and they were going through a hardship, and we ended up selling it, and there was problems, and we ended up getting it all smoothed over, and just like being able to tell that person, like, yo, like, and you could see they're genuinely, like, so happy that they used you, like, doing one of them jobs where you feel like genuinely like, wow, like, I'm getting paid to do this, but it's almost like this feeling.
It's like a pleasure. Like, it was a pleasure doing business.
You feel genuinely so happy for who you're working for that it's like an awesome feeling.
That's why one thing I always like doing. Like, I'm talking to a customer. I try to talk to my customers like they're family or friends already. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I'll sit there and talk to you all day, especially if they fish and they hunt. Dude, I walk to people's houses and they got like
we
pictures
were talking
of
about that. That's a whole other ballgame for us. But I was just on a boat, and I've obviously, you're the fishing gang. I know so much, but I was just on a boat like literally 2 weeks ago. And the dude's asking me who they know, blah, 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 and they're showing me pictures because I'm like, I'm trying to get a flounder charter in August. They showed me pictures, and it was you, and I was like, oh my god, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Small world.
Yeah, dude. Everyone, like, it's funny because I have like cousins like on my dad's side of the family who live up in like Westchester and like Chad's Ford, like a little bit like out there.
Yeah, I went to school in Westchester, so I used to go more when I was in the like the junk company and moving company. I worked out of Westchester, so I know everywhere within like 100 miles.
They're like, how did you grow up in the city, but yet you hunt and you
got
fish?
The whole lifestyle on the other side.
And it's just like, dude, I don't know.
I haven't got into the hunting. I want to so bad. That's like definitely on my bucket list. But one of what's weird, and you probably laugh at this, I can close this eye like that, but I have to hold. It's like 1 out of 7 people. So if I shoot a rifle, I have to shoot left-handed.
So that's crazy you say that because I shoot left-handed.
Really?
I shoot my rifle.
Can you close both eyes?
Nah,
or is it you just lefty?
Dude, my nephew.
That's funny.
My nephew, when he was younger, he was like 3 years old. Little Nick, my brother's first son. Okay. This dude poked me in my eyeball and sliced my cornea in 3 places. Like, gave me some good damage. So now I can't close my left eye and keep this one open. I can only close my right eye. So my grandpa, like, when he was still alive, he's like, he used to give me like glasses when we go to like the gun range and like put like black tape on it. He's like, this is how they taught us in the army. I'm like, dude, I'm not in the army, bro. I'm like, I'm not at war.
You might have to come and train me.
Yeah, well, it didn't work because I still shoot left-handed. Right. My hunt rifle's a pump 30-06.
You literally can't like go. It's impossible.
Dude, I can't. And
for me, because I have to like basically, I would have to do what you do. I'd have to tape this eye to shoot right-handed.
Yeah, and some people were like, just keep your eyes open. I'm like, I can't do that
No,
either.
it don't work.
Yeah, it don't work.
If I shoot pistol, I can like kind of get the tilt off, but I can't do that. Do you shoot lefty pistol?
Pistol, I shoot right-handed. Like rifles, shotguns, I shoot left-handed. My compound bow, I shoot left-handed too. And I can keep both my eyes open with my bow. But when it comes to a rifle, for some reason, when I'm looking down like a bow, fixed sight,
you shot with a bow?
Yeah, yep.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah,
that's got to be like an intense feeling, I'd imagine. Dude, you get that in fishing sometimes, like when like about bites about a hit, but I'm sure
the adrenaline.
It's not a 3-hour up into one like that where I think is hunting's crazy because it's like, dude, I've been all day for this one shot.
So,
like imagine fishing, you're like there all day for this one bite. At least you have the thought in your head, I might get another bite.
Right, yeah.
Like I'll throw it back.
Like hunting, I will say that like it's like a crazy adrenaline dump when you're deer hunting, because you're 9 times out of 10 you're by yourself in a tree, just waiting, like you said, for this one opportunity. But like when you're fishing or on your boat, or if you're duck hunting, you're kind of with your boys, so it's like you can like talk, you can like make jokes, and like
fishing.
You're out.
I always am like telling myself, like when I'm fishing, like, all right, this is the one. Like this is the cast. That's how I get through it. I'll pepper like 500 casts out before you get the hit.
Or it's like you didn't do nothing all day.
Fishing, it's not like it's so much different than deer hunting. It wouldn't be like. Imagine you're deer hunting and one deer comes, you're like, all right, bet, now 30 are coming. Yeah. Like when you're fishing, you're like, oh, the bite's here. Like finally.
And like it's not like a hunting, you can't really, it's not like fishing where you're like looking at that screen like, bang, we're marking fish. Like, dude, boys, we're on top of them. Like, you know what I mean? Start dropping
someone else on the boat gets a bite, you're like, all right, bet.
Time to start jigging harder or popping, you know what I mean? But
that's crazy. But yeah, I got to get into that. But yeah, bro, I appreciate it. You got anything else for me real quick?
Not really, man.
Nah, it's good. It's good. All right, bet. Well, anybody, if you got any plumbing, HVAC, is that what you guys mostly do them too?
Plumbing, heating, air conditioning, drain cleaning. Pretty much anything that has to do with heating, air conditioning, and plumbing, we'll take care of it.
I'm definitely going to get you into my little system here. We don't get as many big jobs, but we get a lot of like just
so that's kind of like
smaller stuff, like a repair. Like someone might go like, oh, like the drain to the bathtub's broke.
So
I need a new drain.
Me and my helper joke about this. Me and Angela joke about this all the time. It's like, dude, when are we gonna get a day of service? Like faucet, like trap, water heater. It's like, dude, I'm doing like
ditches.
I'm doing like literally last year I think we did like 32 bathrooms last year. Yeah. And just this year alone.
Well, I could tell you that stuff, repair stuff, more or less than installs. Because when you're the house stuff, it's either in there or needs to get taken, right? But we get a lot of like, it's not often, but we'll get like an inspection and someone will
like
do
my
this,
favorite,
this.
Dude.
And the funny part is you'll let my grandpa was a plumber, and he listens to these, so he'll laugh when he hears this. Shout out to my grandpa, but he was a plumber for like 80 years, or not 80 years, like 50 years. And we used to give them to our clients, but he had like the 1980s prices. Dude, and I'm sure we would be having to fight him, like, yo, charge him whatever it costs.
And I'm sure like your grandpa too, like he sees like a pro press nowadays, or like the tools we use nowadays. I'm like, nah, that's not plumbing. Like these back then.
He used to have a bucket of tools, and my dad always tells this funny story. He used to have a bucket, every screw, this, that, whatever. And he would always, my dad would be like, he would work for him and my cousin, and they'd be like, we were in Alany. He's like, I know I have this at the house. Dude, we're driving back. He's like, I'm not spending it. And my dad's like, it's $1, just buy it.
And then plumbers back in the day too, dude, they were brick houses, dude. Like carrying 500-pound cast iron tubs up steps.
My grandpa has 7 kids too. So
yeah,
he's coming home to a madhouse.
Like, yo,
and my dad was one of them.
that's like it's like I'm not there yet, but like one day, hopefully, you know what I mean.
Yeah, me neither. Same boat though.
Kids, man, that's a whole nother ballpark.
Yeah, we could be here all day talking about that. But yeah, bro, I appreciate you.
No problem, man.